and that some of the things that we need to design in is how we make sure the right kind of data is entering that network. I want to then shift to a slightly different topic which connects, which is there's a lot of nonsense written about innovation theory. And if you go to universities today, and I hope NABA is not doing this, they have this linear model of innovation, certainly in the sciences, where you go from basic research to applied research to patent licensing to commercial development, employment in society, and a happy world. Well, it just doesn't work that way most of the time. And in fact, I think the statistics in universities is like 2 in 10,000 patents actually produces any income. It's almost a negligible part of the system works the way that it's advertised. In innovation theory, people talk about the triple helix, how universities, corporations, and governments are going to create innovation in society. There's a huge amount written about this, but the really fundamental missing strands in this are really the network problem. The cultural imaginary is really that drives the evolution of this system. And so, some of the ideas going on in this room are feeding into the next generation of innovators and inventors. And that's where, what is it that convinces people to spend time on something? And it's certainly not university administrations, corporations, or government. And so the whole issue of how social innovation enters into this picture, all the mechanisms of what's called philanthropy 2.0, more money flows through other mechanisms in small amounts than through all of the governments, corporations, and universities of the world put together. And indeed that there are new loci of innovation occurring now. Gerald Barnett has been talking a lot about this in the last year or so and writing about it, about how you design network structures so that they're innovative in their sense. I would also refer you to the writing of Helga Novotny, who's been writing about what she calls modes 2 science and technology, which I think is unfortunate. But I think for people in our community, how do you place artists in labs, scientists in studios, town scientists? How do you disseminate microscience, citizen science? And so you end up with an innovation model that really looks more like this, where there may be universities in that picture. I don't know which of the boxes is NABA. There may be governments and there may be corporations, but there are individual hackers, there are NGOs, there are Quangos, and so the innovation flow is really a network problem. It's not anything that looks like that picture. And so I think as we look at the decades ahead, it's interesting to think about how we create learning societies and innovative societies in this kind of a networked knowledge environment. I want to close in my remaining time with just a few examples. The last couple of years I've been working in Marseille with a new Mediterranean Institute for Advanced Studies called IMERA, very French. We're looking at the human condition of the sciences. But what we're trying to do is set up situations where people in different disciplines can collaborate with each other, either between the social sciences and the physical sciences, or between the arts and humanities and the sciences. And we're doing this through a variety of different kinds of residency programs. I want to mention a group that's coming to Marseille next spring, or maybe next summer, I forget when they're coming, which is a group of researchers around Cerro Cattuto in Turin, not very far from here. And they've been looking at modeling complex network phenomena that entangle technological and social factors. And so they've done a lot of work in hospitals and schools and conferences, public places, looking, for instance, how cell phone behavior actually changes the way people behave in a very concrete social way. And they're coming to Marseille with a mixed team of scientists, designers, multimedia artists, and really trying to look in a very concrete way at how small networks evolve and how technological systems impact the evolution of those networks. Sometimes it sounds a little bit too much like physical sociology to me, and I get a little bit frightened about it. But as you probably know, people like Barabazi have been analyzing cell phone data, and what's frightening is that we are creatures of habit. If you take the databases of cell phone data that are available to cell phones, you can actually predict when two people are going to meet in the future with 80% probability, because we tend to go shopping every Friday evening at the same place, and I come to Milan once a year.